Hello. Today I want to tell you an amazing story. Okay. And the story takes place in this cave right here. Do you see the entrance to the cave? This is a very special cave in the north, in the top of Israel. Okay. And I want to teach you an amazing story about this cave. This cave belonged to somebody named Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, who you might have heard of. Okay. So that's who this cave belongs to. Now, let me tell you the story behind this cave. Shimon was sitting with a bunch of his friends in Eretz Yisrael at a time when the mean Romans were in charge of Eretz Yisrael, and they did not like the Jews. And if a Jew did something wrong, they would kill the Jew. It was a very scary time for Jews. Today in Israel, it's not scary at all. Today, we're in charge of ourselves, so we don't have to worry. But back then, it was very scary. Shimon was standing around, and somebody said, "Isn't it great how the Romans came to Israel and they built all these new roads, and it makes it so much easier for us?" And other people talked about different aspects of whether it was good or bad. But Rosh Yochai said they only did it for themselves. They don't care about the Jews. They hate the Jews. Well, the Romans heard about it, and they heard about what Rosh Yochai said, and they said, "We're going to go and we're going to kill Rosh Yochai because he said bad things about us. He said that we only built the roads for ourselves and not to help other people." So Shimon Yochai had to go and hide. So Shimon Yochai and his son Eliezer ran, and they hid in this cave. See how small the opening is? It's very small. You could walk right by here. Today, there's a sign on the cave, so now you know where it is. But before, there wasn't a sign, so you could walk right by this cave and not know that anybody was inside. So Shimon Yochai and his son Eliezer ran into the cave, and they hid there. And they hid there until they knew the Romans didn't want to kill them anymore. How long did it take? You're not going to believe it if I tell you. It wasn't a week, it wasn't a month, it wasn't even a year. It was 13 years they had to hide in this cave. 13 years, Shimon Yochai and his son hid in this cave. Well, what do they eat? So you can't see it in the picture, but right outside the cave, there was a tree that produced a fruit called a carob. It's not so delicious, but for 13 years, all Shimon bar Yochai and his son Eliezer ate was carobs from that tree. They didn't have any visitors. What do they do all day long in the cave? Well, all day long for 13 years, all they did was study Torah. That's all they did. They just studied Torah together. A father and his son, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai and his son, Rabbi Eliezer, sat in this cave and studied Torah together for 13 years. After 13 years, word came that the Romans had left Eretz Yisrael and they no longer wanted to kill Rosh Shimon bar Yochai, that he was safe if he left the cave. So him and his son Eliezer left the cave, and they were walking around all over Eretz Yisrael, and they saw people working, and they said, "Wait a minute, why are they working? You have to study Torah. Torah is most important. You don't have time to work. Everybody has to study Torah just like we did for 13 years in the cave. All you should do is study Torah." And Rabbi Eliezer, the Gemara says, who tells the story, was so upset, fire came out of his eyes and burnt somebody up that was working. Shimon bar Yochai looked at what his son did, and he said, "Whoa, Eliezer, we can't do that. That's not okay. We have to go back into the cave and calm down." And they went back into the cave for a whole year. They stayed in this cave. And after a year, Eliezer was calm and he walked out and he understood that people don't just learn Torah all day long. They also go to work and they also have fun and they also cook and clean their houses even, because not everybody gets to live in a cave like this. A lot of people wouldn't want to live in a cave like this. So when Rabbi Eliezer and Shimon bar Yochai came out of the cave, they were a lot calmer. They were more understanding of other people, and they were able to teach other people Torah and become great, great teachers of Torah for other people because they were understanding. And that teaches us a great lesson in this story, that it's not enough just to learn Torah. You have to be very calm and very nice to people and make sure that they want to hear your Torah. Isn't that a great story? What an amazing, amazing story.